Welcome in everybody to the Form Hunter episode 7. We're really tuning out these bloody videos. We're been a busy week for me, but you know it's late in the piece on a Wednesday, but still just keen to get this content out every week so people can have something to listen to and have a bit more confidence before going ahead and making their picks. Because no one really wants to just take a stab in the dark when they're going for a punt. So that's what my job's for. And I also just bloody love talking. So, I enjoy doing these, and, it's good to see the subscriber count going up and the likes. So just keep hitting the subscribe button, keep liking, tell your friends to tune in. And last week was a wee bit rough. We did manage to pick up an $11 winner in Australia, Rick Riley. If you've been following on the channel, I've tipped him out a few times. Finally got up. So Rick Riley, it was a well-deserved win at $11. Did get backed into about $6 on close, so that wasn't bad. And then the other good collect of the week was Magnetic Terror, and that was opened up at $7.50 on the New Zealand tab. And the boys backed that into about $4.50, $4.80, and that got the chocolates. What a drive. Thought it was going to get locked away on the pegs, but it was a great drive, and the horse was bolting at the end there and definitely deserved the win. However, moving on to this week, we've got 3 meetings in New Zealand. We've got the Thursday night at Waikato. We've got the Friday night at Ashburton. We've got the Friday night at Addington and the Sunday at Addington. We've got the Amateur Drivers Series heats, so that'll spice up the weekend. Not a lot of runners I'm too keen on. It's going to be a bit light this week. There's a few Australian runners I will show you and talk about at the end of the last half of the podcast. But we're going to start off at Waikato tomorrow night. In race number 2, if we just can get away from bloody Echuca harness, which I was watching earlier tonight. There's a couple of ex-Kiwis going around. Did She Do It? Which one down in Winton was over there? It's over at the Julie Douglas stable, so that was interesting. But race number 4, Waikato, Cambridge. Going to be a cold night up there, presumably. They had a bit of fog last meeting. Interesting sort of maiden race here. We've got Sylvia K, who was excellent, I thought, 2 starts ago, got held up. The deafeners didn't get activated, or the blinds or something along those lines that I read. We can just quickly bring it up. Advised that had been, the sliding blinds and deafeners as a result weren't activated. It was held up. And then last start second, we will just bring that up behind I'm a Shadow Princess. It was drawn in barrier 7. The sectionals were okay. And I think drawn barrier 1, it's got a lot of options at Cambridge. You want to be the best horse in the race, you can lead out. Showed a little bit of gate speed, I thought, potentially might be able to increase on that. He seems to have a bit of a firm hold, and then he asked for a go effort there, Zach Butcher, and obviously he's stuck with the drive, so he's obviously confident on the horse. He's about 5-6 wide, and he goes and sits in the breeze. And overall, just a really tough race here in the fog last start at Cambridge. Then you can see sort of still sticking on Sylvia K. Actually, it's an Art Major filly. I don't know why I'm saying he. 11-start Art Major filly, 1 placing, and that was it last time. But up on the inside there was really hitting the hopples there, and just peaked after doing a little bit of work too early. And I'm a Shadow Princess really stuck to her task nicely and got to the line. So Sylvia K from the inside, I think, is a huge threat. $2.80 seems good enough shopping. Not too many in that race. I've tipped out the Fisherman, and I think it's a horse with ability. Mark 3 gelding. I think Major Grace is handy enough, and obviously the Telfers runner there, Precious Bell, hasn't shown a lot, but the Betters Delight Bay filly has had 1 race where it did go all right behind some nice good horses that have gone on to win multiple races. So Precious Bell is going to be on our back every step of the way, most likely. Fletch Maguire's been backed in from 7s to 550. It's a horse with plenty of gate speed. But that's okay, because Sylvia K should be able to hand up to Fletch Maguire, and then Fletch Maguire can get us to the lane. And I think it's shown enough, this Bay filly Art Major, for Hollis and Robinson, that Zachary Butcher can get it up the lane and, pull those sliding blinds and get it home in race number 4. Then we go to race number 7. Small field, standing starts. I do say I want to stay away from the standing starts. They're a bit fucking dicey. But Bad Medicine comes in here in a very winnable race, I thought. High Point's been honest horse. She's been going great guns for the Rogerson stable. Riverman Sam goes all right. Looking for the hat trick, but if you just go back in the form line here for Bad Medicine, just look at those placings, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 placings in a row, probably was 10 if you go even further back in the fields. But you just have to look in the form line. You know, it's got a third behind Paulie D, home in 56, behind Mr. Ibiza, who's over in Queensland in the Carnival. You know, beating Glenthorne. Third behind Zarias. Second behind Rough and Ready, who we know is a great horse. Another placing behind Rough and Ready, and another fourth behind Taste of Honey in some of those big cup races down at Manawatu. And I just thought it was really sort of unlucky in that I think it was a Ratto race from memory. Quite a lot of horses were found out there. It was over the 2 miles, 3,200 meters at Addington, and obviously it's hard to win at Addington, so willing to forgive that. Comes in fresh. Anna Donnelly, stable firing. Elisa Harrison, she knows how to steer them. She goes great. She's back. She's in business. 10-meter handicap. It'll step, and it will be there at the end for sure. $3.80. I think that's very generous considering the form it brings into this, albeit fresh up. But I think Bad Medicine is definitely one that you want to be including as one of your bets of the Thursday night at Cambridge. And that's all for Cambridge, to be honest. Didn't like too many others. So we do head down to Addington on the Friday night. And we're going to go into race number 1, Star Trialist Skittle Bomb. Robbie Close, Regan Todd. We know how dangerous this combo can be, but they're home in 56.6 here. And I thought it was a very nice trial for Skittle Bomb. I was pretty happy with the run. Was a little bit shaken up in the end, but I thought he had a bit of a firm grip on it, and sort of indicating that it's going quite nicely. And the Regan Todd barn, as I've said, they know how to prepare them. And interesting sort of race here with Rodasi, Kalani Dance, and Dancing Desire drawn inside. But as you can see, Skittle Bomb off the inside led well there, held them out by a long way. And if you can see, we'll skip through to the end. Sort of just clicks it up. Robbie doesn't really call upon Skittle Bomb at all. I just need to double check if it's a female or a male. Yeah, it is a male. Skittle Bomb, the American Ideal gelding. But you can see here as it pulls away, he sort of just gets a bit lazy there and sort of knocks off the one on the inside there. Who was that? Don Rockin. Yeah, that was nice to the line, but you can see Robbie's barely moved and it's jogged home. And that's on a 56.6 last 800, 28.4. So he was knocking off in the last quarter. And I think he's definitely one you need to respect first up. And maybe even a decent quote, as we've got Dancing Desire in here, who's probably going to be quite a short price favourite. The Ken Barron Blair Orange combos never fly under the radar. They're always, you know, the other ones that get opened at the short quotes. Yes. Then we go to race number 4. Don't need X out of there. Bear with me. I'm bloody tired. Back one. Oh, God. What have we done here? Bring it up. Come on. There we go. Race number 4. Lights on and we're away and racing now. Yeah, right. You can really tell I'm tired and losing the plot here, but here we go. This horse, really like it. Royal Pride, really good through the summer on the grass tracks. Had a disqualified run where it won. Then went and tried to come back and had a nice 6 behind Smoking Bandar, but it broke and it was really good savaging the line. Then we've had 2 trial wins, and I think it just comes in here really nicely. Never won fresh. Has a placing fresh 30. So that is the one concern, but the 2 trials, you'd hope it's bloody ready to run a race. And I think no handicap. This horse is talented. It does have Resolve in here to deal with, and Laurie's Legacy, who goes all right. But I think Royal Pride, Sam Thornley, Fred Fletcher, good combo. He knows the horse well. If it steps and gets to the top, it's got a great turn of foot. And I think Royal Pride can get the chocolates and maybe even at a very juicy quote. That's depending on what the TAB offer up tomorrow afternoon. Then we go into the Silver Moon Jewelers Ladies Night, 8th of July, Mobile Pace. This one's for the fillies and mares, and it's a pretty nice looking race, not going to lie. We've got some decent performers in here. We've got Shanika, Maureen Franco, Classy Dance all by myself on the back row. We've got Brave You Kelly, Ko-Fi Shadow, who's been a picture of form. And we've got Kikorangi Blue and Evangelist. All these horses, been knocking on the door, been winning races, been in some great form. I think Kikorangi Blue can leave the arm very fast. Evangelist's gate speed's a little bit lacking, but I think if Evangelist can get to the pegs, it's got options to hand to Kikorangi Blue. And Kikorangi Blue is sort of the horse I don't think they will be handing out. Bob Butt, barrier 6, probably push the button, get out to the front and dictate things in front. So I think you want to be on Evangelist and Kikorangi Blue. They've both been running really good races and good time. So I think you can definitely do yourself a favor and back both of those to win in race number 5. Then we go to race number 7, where we've got an interesting stand start, 2,600 meters. The key here is Blair Orange. His hand's majestic, but we do bring up Dr. Lavros here. It was a really nice winner down in Winton. Came up to Addington, fresh up after a long time off the scene, at least about 5 or 6 months. And you can see here, Dr. Lavros drawn wide out on the track. Sort of gets a bit of I'd say about a genuine start. I mean, it stood there for a little bit, but you can see it just sort of rolls along and gets the top off the Pat the Monkey, is it? Moon's Way, Mickey's J, one of those horses. But you can see Dr. Lavros gets to the front and going pretty good in front here. Racy Cruiser does come up on the outside, but we didn't really see if Racy Cruiser was going to go on by. I think Dr. Lavros maybe had another gear and was going to be in the fight for sure. Then it just went off stride. So I think they would have ironed out the little kinks there for Dr. Lavros, and Michael House, no doubt, will have this one ready to go race day. And this field looks pretty weak, to be honest. I think Cody Banner's all right, and comes in here well on the ratings, but and was a nice last start winner. And these trotters, you really do need to follow them if they're in form. But I think, Dr. Lavros, albeit a Galloped 200 meters out, I think should be the class horse in this one and get up the lane. But I think Take After Me, it's always a cheeky one to have a little each way saver on. It'll probably be at big odds. John Morris and Fred Scott, they love getting a nice inside draw. The 11-year-old in the field, somehow not the eldest, Jerry Garcia is, but I think, on the inside it can step and be a good place chance or a top 4 chance at the very least. Then we go to race number 11, King Arthur and Victor Bravo. Victor Bravo was a very good last start winner. I've been told, connections think this is a pretty good horse when it works out at home, and it's finally translated into some race day success. And, it was pretty confident watch if you're on. Got to the top, and that was game over, really. Victor Bravo was a nice winner. But you've got King Arthur, who's been really consistent and running on strongly at the line. Doesn't have the best gate speed, so it will be an interesting battle. But I think if you play both those to win, they will be getting the chocolates. And then we go to Sunday, where we have the last sort of few races of the Amateur Drivers Championships, where we will see the winner be crowned on the Sunday there. And race number 2, that's where we're going to start off with, and it's See It Thru. Kerry Hadfield. I went and called at the workouts at Moch Carrara the other week, and I saw it trial up and ran home in some decent time. Never really asked for an effort, and then when the lane came down at Moch Carrara on the grit, it sort of really, showed a good bit of acceleration. Didn't get past Gaetano, which is a race winner. But it did show a tendency to be trotting nicely, and I thought I'd give it a chance here. It looks a very open race, and I think if See It Through can find the top, it's shown enough that it can potentially, have a go with them and potentially be throwing upset in the works at big odds. Kerry Hadfield, obviously, small-time trainer. And his horses, they'll be at the other end of the scale on odds wise, so we could get some good shopping for that. And I don't see why I wouldn't want to take the big odds on that if we do get it. That's if the TAB have been doing their sort of form, but I doubt that they would have seen that work out. So that might be not a bad option there. See It Through in race number 2 on the Sunday. Then we go to race number 3, where He's Center Excuse, sipping out the last few weeks. Very big run. We'll bring it up because it's worthy of a rewatch. Huge run here. I've backed myself thinking this horse was talented. Just lacks gate speed, and unfortunately you do need that to survive in this world. So it did everything it could, but He's Center's Excuse did maybe have a slight excuse, being buried on the pegs here, fall back after, what was it? Backburn handed up on the final back straight, and then, really got held up there and had to go 3 wide. So there's a slight excuse there for He's Center's Excuse. That's a bit ironic, but He's Center's Excuse hit the line nicely, and you can see him finishing off really solidly at the end here. And then we go to race number 7, where we've got an interesting runner in Pocket Cool. This horse is, I believe, a 72 or 73 start horse for only about 3 wins. Off to the Matt Purvis barn down at the beach. Here we go. 75 starts, 3 wins, 1 second, 2 thirds. And that's somehow won a trial. The horse has shown a bit of ability early on, but now it's at Matt Purvis's. It's had a bit of a haircut. It's had to freshen up, and it steps well. And you can see here it's running about 3rd. And then Robbie Close says, nah, not happy with that. Pulls up to the outside shoulder and really gives him a few reminders. And the ones on the inside aren't really asked for much of an effort, but they ran home 57.6. It was handy enough. And at Addington, you would imagine it'll just step and be on speed the whole way. And it's the only horse that doesn't have a handicap, and that'll put it a long way in that race. I don't think there's too many screaming out that they're, knocking on the door for a win. So the Pocket Cool of a 10-meter handicap, if it steps, it's game on, I think. Could take a bit to run down. Then we go to the last one of the day, race number 8, Violet Night. This horse, my goodness, just went for a random break. You can see here, broke passing the 1,100 meter ground, losing ground, checking a trailing runner. Another warning was placed on the record, and it was very held up, the final bend. But you can see this horse has definitely got a huge engine on it. It's got a good sprint. It just needs some luck to go its way. Obviously, it's been fighting off the unruly and gets into a bit of trouble every time at bloody races. But you can see he gets far back here, and as they come past the winning post with a lap to go, it just goes off stride. I'm not too sure why. Maybe saw something, or jumped a shadow or something like that. But you can see it lost about 30 lengths. No, not 30 lengths. Probably about 15, 20 lengths. If you bring it up, Robbie's got it traveling beautifully there as it's just held up for a run. And then it bobs and weaves its way through and really is gaining on the horse that runs second. And, if it can get any chance, any look at them, a nice sit, a 1-1 sit, it's game over. So maybe it might have been doing itself a favor, and we might get some better odds because there's Take a Hike who's been honest enough. Kalani Dance, the Mark Jones stable, you got to respect them. But I think Violet Night might be at a decent enough quote, maybe about $2.50, $3. So I think it's definitely shoppable. But that's going to be entirely up to you. Then we go to Australia. That's the New Zealand part done. Obviously, winter racing, there's not too many to get excited for. But we head to Thursday night, which is tomorrow. We've got 3 short price favourites. These are all like under $1.75. So if you multi those 3 up, I think they'll run a good chance of coming through. Then we head to Friday out at Young. We've got Louis the punter, who was very disappointing at Menangle the other week. On the weekend, we have Smooth Overarm, who's been going nice. That used to be with Terry Schmiel. And we've got Ronaldo in that race as well, who's a talented horse on his day. Then we got race number 5. We've got Tiger Lou. I thought it was really good last start and really hit the line. Was held up for its run, and I think it would have finished closer to the leaders if it had a chance to run on. Then we got Bendigo. We've got Megan, who's over with the Brent Lilly stables now. We've got Renko, race number 4, used to be with Stephen McRae. Rock and Tommy Rules used to be with the Hopes. That's fresh up coming in. Then we got race number 6, American Legacy. That's been absolutely great since arriving in Australia for Brent Lilly. It's won about 4 in a row, and it's got a niggly draw for it. I don't think it's going to suit it. It's one on the back row, so it'll need the number 1 pole horse to lead and potentially get up the passing lane, but he sort of likes to be rolling out in front. He's a very one-pace but brave horse. And then we've got Jawbreaker, who was over here in New Zealand a couple years ago with Michael House, showed a bit of ability and ran some nice races over here in New Zealand and has been going some nice races in Australia recently, and John Dickey gets the reins. Josh Dickey gets the reins, and then Bet on the Tiger, who was with Ray Green, sent over to Julie Douglas. Pretty honest horse. It's got gate speed, pretty tough thing. Nothing exceptional out of it, but it goes all right. Then we go to Newcastle, Rock and Roll Mama. Last start, willing to forgive. I mean, you just got to forgive every time, really. It's a Group 1 placed at the Harness Jewels, so Rock and Roll Mama's just got to be tipped out every week. Then Stella's Delight, we've got the Calligans pairing up, Mark and Jack, the trainer-driver combo. Good draw. Stella's Delight, ex-Kiwi horse, goes good. Military Man was a disappointing run from the weekend. It opened at about $21 and was a decent enough quote. Barrier 1 over the 2,300 meters at Menangle. You really do want to be on speed there, and if you can leave from Barrier 1 over the 2,300, you're really going to be a good chance of running a place. Wasn't happy with the drive. There was a chance of coming to the 1-1 there with a lap to go, and the driver didn't choose to take that. So I was a bit scratching my head there, as it did run to the line a bit. It did still had a bit left in the tank, and I thought the horse that went into the 1-1 in front of us actually went out in place. So we would have ran a place if we went into the 1-1 when we had the chance, but we didn't. So driver error there, willing to forgive and maybe go one more time. Then we go to Albion Park. Classy Washington, I've tipped that out every start in Australia, and it hasn't lost since arriving there. And then Slip the Hundy. It's going to be a good battle between these 2 Kiwis. They're drawn right behind each other. One's in front. Classy Washington's drawn Barrier 2. Finally gets a good draw. We haven't seen if it's got gate speed yet, so that'll be interesting. And then Slip the Hundy is going to be on our back and be everywhere, challenging Classy Washington. So those 2 will be going up in a good fight. Then we've got Global Flight, who's won 2 since arriving in Australia and just trotting like a madman. Ko-Fi Blaze, race 5. That horse showed a bit of ability, was with Terry Schmiel, then went to Menangle with Jack Trainer and Galloped and still won a race. It's on the unruly, and it's got a bit of ability, but you just got to be careful with that one. But Luke Whitaker's got the drive, and he aims to sort of roll forward from Barrier 7, and if the horse is good enough, he'll find the top hopefully and might be able to be a good chance. We've got Doffia Cap arriving in Queensland. We've got Woodley Diego as a good last start winner, and then we've got Regazzo Mark on the Friday night finishing it off, drawn the pole position. It was a very good horse down in southern New Zealand, down in Invercargill with Nathan Williamson, and it's going good for Mark Reed over in WA. Saturday night, we've got Redcliffe, Captain Nemo. It's a pretty honest horse, just keeps knocking away. Barrier 1, Redcliffe, tiny track, not much, pretty hard to cross from, if the horse has got good gate speed in Barrier 1, it's pretty hard to cross there. So pretty keen on the Captain Nemo to just forgive last start. Barrier 1 at Redcliffe's got every chance. The Honey Queen, again, sort of the story of last weekend was forgive. There's a few excuses. The Honey Queen just randomly galloped. She was almost just going too quick for her own good. but she's drawn well and she's got exceptional gate speed and top end speed. She's ticking all the boxes of the Honey Queen, and she should be winning if she puts her best foot forward. Then Call Me Keith, interesting runner, got gate speed, probably will suit the Redcliffe track. Amore Vita was exceptional first up for Nathan Purden in Queensland, and draws barrier 1. That should be $1.001. You wouldn't get any money out of that, I don't think. And then LL Cool J too good. That was my Chris Barsby impression, but LL Cool J over the 2600 goes good in Aussie. Been knocking on the door again, back into some form. Has won at Redcliffe over the distance. Then we go to Melton, race 1, the Kingsman for Kieran Manning. This horse has got a bit of ability, good draw for once. It's usually got the back row to deal with or right out on the arm. So if it can use its gate speed, get to the top and dictate, it'll be running on. Humble Lads, fresh up, 01 overall. Some ex-Kiwi trotters going battle to battle. Race 3, Von Art. What a story that is. That Art Major filly, or Art Major Baymere, I think it is. Used to be with Maddie Williamson down in South, and it's been over with Emma Stewart, and Von Art has been revitalized and repurposed into a winning machine and has won about 6 races in a row. Well drawn again, barrier 4, I think it is. So if they use the gate speed, they can fly the top. Probably be hard to beat again. We've got Elegant Peak, who used to be with Brett Mangoes. That's over in Melton on Saturday. That's in a pretty tough race for it, but well drawn. It's probably going to be a top 4 chance. We've got race 6, Jeremy Wells. He's been going very good races over there, Jeremy, and gets a good draw to work with. Then Diamonds and Cash, one of my favourite horses for Andy and Kate Gaff. This horse is very honest and it wins at big odds when it gets up. So it is fresh up off the back row. Probably need a Christmas miracle. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the horse. Got a huge engine. Race number 1 at Menangle, Jazzy Star almost got the job done for us, lost by a nose. Then it's drawn barrier 10 this Saturday, so it's going to have to be really good to win from there. It's hard to win wide out at Menangle, but if they can light it up early and get to the top, I think might have a good chance of running a good place. Good each way chance for me. Race number 2, Boom, good last start winner. Drawn barrier 1's probably going to be hard to beat. Surfers Delight was very good running a second last start, sitting parked, and just keep fighting to the line. And Doubtless Bay, interesting runner. It was with Joe Pace up at Melton in Victoria. Now it's back to New South Wales, back with Jason Grimson. Jack Trainer, I think, is driving it, or Cam Hart, one of the two. So tick, 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 back at Menangle, where it likes it. It's a big, scopy horse, bloody loves a big track, and it's got a good grittiness to it. Zeus Bromax back in business, should be running on, should be winning that race, really. Town Echo, Shan Lu, some ex-Kiwis. Town Echo was pretty good, pretty brave. Won about 4 or 5 in a row since arriving in New Zealand. Finally went down and came 3rd last start. Shan Lu off the inside. Darren Binskin, he's a man possessed in the bike, and he's got barrier 1, and he'll push that thing out of the gate, and he'll give it every chance at big odds. Vincent Van Gogh for Kevin Pizzuto. The horse was pretty good in New Zealand. Hasn't shown too much in Aussie, but I thought it's got good gate speed over 2,300 meters. If it can lead from barrier, for I think 4 or 5 or 6, get to the top and dictate, might be a good each way chance. And race 8, One Apollo. That's for Trevor Monday, and it used to be over here with Brent White. Good bunch of owners with this one. Standing start, trotter, just it's volatile, this horse, but it's definitely got ability. If it can step and find the top, and it'll win a race for sure. So it's just about backing this one every single time, and eventually it'll get up. But yeah, then we go to Globe Derby to finish the night off. Fireball, pretty good last start, and then race 2, Better Be Onto It. Was a bit unlucky, I thought, and might be a good each way quote. I've talked for fucking way too long now. My brain is very tired, and that's going to be doing me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. And hopefully we get a few winners for you for this week. So cheers, guys. See you next week.